Joining us now with more, Andy Card, former White House Chief of Staff and an NBC News and MSNBC political analyst. It's great to see you this morning, Andy. Let me just ask you, we care about markets, we care about the economy. It'd be nice if Washington were a tailwind, and I'm talking fiscally, for the economy. Anything between now and a year from now that we can expect other than the Fed to help with economic growth, or do you think Congress is just paralyzed?
Well, I'm glad to see that they have a short-term spending bill ready for. It'll only take us till December 20th. They've got to work on a real budget, and I hope they'll keep working on it while they're dealing with this impeachment mess. I also hope that they'll pass USMCA. It's very important to get that trade deal done with Mexico and Canada and the U.S. And we also have to pay attention to what's happening over in China. We've got to get the trade deal done there and get the tariffs reduced. And so there's a lot of work that has to be done. I hope they can chew gum and walk at the same time. Unfortunately, they talk more than they chew the gum. So I don't know what's going on, but they clearly have the capacity to get things done. It's a good sign that they got this short-term spending bill on the books, and they should vote for it with a big, overwhelming bipartisan support, hopefully this next few days, and get that done. But they've got to work on a real budget, and they've got to get USMCA done. Speaker
Pelosi gave some lip service to USMCA. I'm just wondering whether we take her at her word that it's really going to move forward. She seemed to indicate that she was open to doing that, but cynical people think that maybe that won't happen because it would give a bit of a victory to the Trump administration. What's your true feeling about whether we get that done?
I actually take the speaker at her word. I do think that she would like to get USMCA passed. That doesn't mean it's going to be an easy lift for her within her caucus. But I think it's important to get done, and hopefully people will put their partisan bickering aside to just get it done. There's an awful lot of work that's gone into it. I think it's very important to be done, and the world is looking for that. We also have to send a signal that trade deals are good, and we should get China to step up to meet their responsibilities to come to an agreement. So it's important. I think USMCA would be an important signal not only to the U.S. ability to have its economy continue to grow, but to the world that the Congress is interested in being part of the solution rather than part of the problem.
It's a very partisan process we see going on here. Both sides are dug in, and that's why I started with the market impact on what Congress is able to do. But just to discuss what we're talking about briefly, I did see you quoted as, I don't remember the word you used for the phone call, but I think you called it maybe troubling or something. You can just tell us how you felt about the whole issue we're talking about, and whether it rises to the level of an impeachable offense in your view, and whether there's a chance of getting 20 senators, Republican senators, to convict.
First of all, I think the process has been a little more partisan than it needs to be. And I don't like all the leaking and the spin. I want the facts to come out. Let the facts determine what happens. My gut tells me that there will be a vote on impeachment and the president will be impeached. I do not think that he will be removed. I don't think the Senate will pass any kind of conviction, and I don't think that he would be removed. But right now, my gut is that he'd likely to be impeached. I think but I want the truth to come out without the bias. And right now, the people are putting ornaments on whatever is said, and I don't think that we're actually seeing the cold, hard facts. I'd like the facts to come out. I hope the process is a little more honest and fair, and hopefully we'll get to that point. But the president should just continue to do his job. I think the president should not be preoccupied with this. Focus on the job that's done. There's an awful lot going on in the world. His leadership is critically important in order to get the rest of the world in line. And we've got trouble spots all around the world, obviously in the Middle East. The new policy changes in Israel are going to create a debate. We've got problems in Hong Kong. We've got problems at many places around the world, and I want the president to maintain his interest in solving those problems rather than focus on impeachment. Let the winds blow where they may in Congress and just do the job of being president.
If you're as chief of staff and you're advising someone who has a strong will and is very independent, what kind of advice would you give the president? I mean, I know what you want him to do, but how would you go about influencing him?
First of all, I would say, don't be distracted. Simply, I kind of wish he were not tweeting about the impeachment process and just accept that it's going to be going the way it's going. And I don't think that he should be meddling in that process. I think he should say, let the facts come out. I don't think the facts are going to be that compelling that he would be removed, and focus on doing the job. I think President Clinton, when he gave the president advice, said, just do your job. That's how he got through. That's how President Clinton got through the impeachment process.
So, Andy, as a Washington person that been there a long time, how do you see this affecting, and we're getting back to the markets and the economy again, is this a positive long run for Trump, or is it a positive for the Democratic nominee, whether it's Elizabeth Warren or somebody else? Because then, do you think that this could help Elizabeth Warren eventually win the presidency if she was the nominee in November of next year? And what would that mean for the economy and the markets?
Well, first of all, I think the Democrats have been dealt an incredibly good hand, but they are grossly misplaying it. I don't think Elizabeth Warren reflects the reality of expectation in this country, so I think she's lurched way too far left. So I don't see her as part of the solution. I actually see her as part of the problem. And we've got a good economy. We want to keep it going, and it's important to get these trade deals done. It's important to deal with the situation with China and get that behind us. And I think the president understands that. And so I don't think the impeachment process is troubling to the state of our democracy and politics, but I don't think it's impacting the economy yet. And I hope that it won't. I hope that we'll keep focusing on. That's why I want Congress to do its job. I'm troubled by the spending that Congress has been doing. We're spending like crazy, and we've got to be careful with how we use the taxpayers' money. Yeah. But I don't think the politics has gelled, and the Democrats have not settled on a viable candidate yet, and I don't know who a viable candidate is that I could define right now.
All right, I'm going to channel Andrew for a second. He's doing something else. As an ethical person, would you be okay with the re-election of President Trump?
I'm not a big Trump fan. I don't like the tweeting. I wish he would taste his words before he spit them out, or lick his thumbs before he tweets them out. And I find that he's a little bit impetuous. But I have to agree with a lot of his policies, and I think it's important. Stability is critical to the success of our economy. We want to know kind of for certain which way we're headed.
So, Andy,
I think he has given us momentum in our economy.
Let me make it more complicated. So if I give you Elizabeth Warren, or I give you the president, what do you do?
I would go with the president.
All right. Okay. We will. We're out of here. Andy Card, thank you. I appreciate it.